Here at Unveiling Potential, we explore the complex field of mental performance in sports. Today's episode features a remarkable case study of Jasmine, a gymnast at the University of Oklahoma, who deals with the challenges of balancing elite athletics with her own happiness. I'm Sienna Gargano, your host, along with Courtney Cowles. Come along as we explore the methods and approach that are critical to optimizing both physical potential and overall well-being.
Let us first establish the situation before going into Jasmine's story. Jasmine was a key player in her team's 2022 national championship win as a sophomore in the program. But behind every success story is one of hardship and resiliency. Jasmine is dealing with the impact from just missing out on the Olympic selection for 2021. This setback has affected her confidence and performance. We're going to take a closer look at Jasmine's mentality today and see how actions related to mental performance might influence her future.
Jasmine's gymnastics path is a lesson to determination and success, but it also includes a great deal of hardship. Her mental health has suffered because of the great pressure of elite competition and the heartbreak of just missing out on Olympic selection. Her performances haven't been the same since, and she's unsure if she can do as she did before with her previous passion and motivation. This story emphasizes a basic fact about athletics. There is no separation between mental toughness and physical ability. Athletes such as Jasmine can reach their potential on and off the mat by admitting and dealing with mental health issues. This is best expressed by a quotation from Physiological Pressure and Athletes' Perception of Motivational Climate in Team Sports. They say, when emotions are perceived as pleasant, they can enhance performance, but when experiences are as unpleasant, they can impede it. This is a significant comment that applies to daily athletic practice. Athletes that compete in a setting where motivation is based on performance frequently struggle with increased anxiety through practices as well as competition. Their performance is compromised by this ongoing state of arousal, which also makes it harder for them to concentrate and raises the possibility of mistakes. As a result, situations where winning is valued above all else may encourage these negative emotion states in athletes.
Athletes' journeys are shaped by a complex mixture of factors like motivation, focus, and resilience within the complex realm of mental performance in athletics. Jasmine's confidence and performance are affected by past setbacks. It is vital that, as a mental performance practitioner, you create strategies that build on her strengths and comfort her weaknesses head on. The objective is to reignite Jasmine's passion and elevate her performance to levels that were previously unattainable via the calculated use of coping strategies and mentality shifts. There was a case done by effect of different types of anxiety on athletes' performance, planning and managing strategy to cope with athletes' anxiety, or the athletes under investigation. There is a significant negative link between different types of anxiety. Trait, somatic, and cognitive, and sports performance. The data reflect as assortment of correlations from negative 0.56 to negative 0.67, suggesting a moderately adverse correlation, which heightened anxiety corresponds to decreased performance success. The analyzed data have shown a mild negative association between anxiety and success in sport. Additionally, the statistically inferences revealed that different types of anxiety have produced significant on sports performance of athletes. These results highlight the strong influence of anxiety on athletic performance as they are statistically significant. Anxiety has a significant impact on athletes since it has obscured their judgment, making it more difficult for them to make smart judgments and execute their physical duties. Athletes worry about not living up to expectations of coaches, fans, and others, and they are under pressure to perform to their best of their abilities. Their body's stress response is triggered by this stress, which worsens their coordination, tense muscles, and racing heart. Additionally, anxiety can exacerbate pre-existing anxieties and performance insecurities, creating a vicious cycle of self-doubt and pessimism that impairs one's performance even more. In general, anxiety significantly affects athletes, so it's crucial to discover strategies for improving their anxiety management.
Now we're going to talk about Jasmine's first meeting. Jasmine's objectives are revealed to us during our first meeting. Jasmine opens up about her inner conflicts and doubts. Even though she had achieved success in the past, she was burdened by the constant pressure to do well and the threat of failure. We laid the foundation for a cooperative journey toward mental toughness and a purpose by building confidence and trust. Resilience and Mental Health article by Dimitri M. Davido provided insight into the complex nature of the mental resilience by stating that earlier experiences with hardship may serve as an introduction to positive adult experiences. They say because resilience related to positive adult experiences may stem from childhood protection against adversities, a lifespan trajectory approach is needed to understand the constellation of interacting biological, physiological, social factors that determine, develop, or modify resilience. This emphasizes how understanding the interactions of biological, physiological, and social elements that mold, shape, and refine resilience through time requires adopting a lifelong approach. The quotation highlights resilience as a dynamic concept that is developed by the impacts and highlights how important early experiences are in determining an individual's capacity to deal with stress and obstacles. Athletes need resilience because it enables them to overcome obstacles, maintain focus, and go forward in the face of setbacks. There will be inevitably ups and downs in athletics, such as criticism, losses, and injuries. Rather than letting these setbacks stop them, resilience in athletes gives them a chance to improve and gain new skills. Despite the challenges they face, they never lose motivation, adopt an optimistic outlook, and continue to put in a lot of effort to achieve their objectives. In difficult circumstances, resilience enables athletes to maintain mental toughness, endures pressure, and provides their best efforts.
This is our second meeting with Jasmine. We discussed Jasmine's connection with gymnastics and her changing views on training and competition in our follow-up discussion. She loves the sport so much, but there are indications of burnout and frustration. Jasmine discovers opportunities for reflection and open discussion to help her grow as a person. Through the introduction of modifications to her training program and mentality, she sets out on a journey to reclaim happiness and satisfaction from her sporting activities. In the article, the effectiveness of training guided imagery in lowering anxiety on athletes. Guided imagery, a relaxing method that involves precisely imagining a peaceful scene or environment, is introduced. This article states, guided imagery is a method of relaxation to imagine a place and the chain associated with a sense of relaxation. Imagery allows clients to enter a state or experience relaxation. Guided imagery stresses that client to imagine about something that can make them feel comfortable and soothing. This approach helps athletes to close their minds and enter a relaxing state. It helps athletes enter a relaxed state by leading them through imagery and generates peace of mind. The quotation emphasizes how crucial it is to picture comforting things to combat anxiety. Athletes are shown to benefit greatly from this mental practice of focused relaxation imagery to effectively handle high pressure or pre-competition anxiety. For athletes, imagery is essential because it helps them picture and physiologically prepare for success. Athletes can improve their drive, focus, and self-confidence by visualizing themselves performing well. Through mental practice of their techniques and tactics, players can enhance their performance on the field or court by using imagery. Additionally, by mentally practicing how they will respond to difficult situations, visualization can assist athletes in managing stress and anxiety. All things considered, imaging is an effective technique that helps athletes use their brains to maximize their performance and accomplish their objectives.
For the third and final meeting, we got back together and Jasmine's development becomes clear. She displays constant drive and determination in handling the highs and lows of her path with each achievement. By implementing customized interventions that are adapted to Jasmine's changing requirements, we set her up for long-term motivation and optimal performance. The statement in Understanding the Role of Motivation in Professional Athletes says, it is the player that wants to achieve them. This highlights a sense of motivation and drive that players have when striving for greatness is done through the coaches to help the athletes to achieve them. An athlete's natural drive is what pushes them to be determined and dedicated to achieving their setting objectives. Athletes need coaches to inspire them to be motivated, focused, and driven to perform at their highest levels. Athletes that are motivated are more likely to work hard, overcome obstacles, and have a positive outlook. all of which contribute to improved performance and success. Athletes need coaches to motivate and inspire them to reach their maximum potential because they provide a safe and encouraging environment. Coach motivation propels athletes towards their goals and cultivates a culture of excellence and drive. It also enhances team cohesion and instills confidence and builds resilience.
Jasmine is at a turning point in her sports career and ready to make a major decision when we have our last meeting. Whether she decides to go on with her college education or to take other routes, her experience is an example of positive effects of resiliency and self-awareness. Sports performance benefits from overcoming fear and applying a variety of practice techniques, both of which translate to real-life scenarios. Since Jasmine learned to control her anxiety, she'll become more resilient, having better coping mechanisms, and have more self-control, all of which are beneficial traits for overcoming obstacles in life. Similarly, using a variety of practice methods improves creativity, problem-solving skills, and adaptability, all of which are necessary for success in a variety of spheres of life. Additionally, her embracing a variety of practicing techniques and conquering anxiety promote a growth mentality, which promotes ongoing learning and development on and off the field. In the end, her abilities and tactics enable her to flourish in a variety of settings, form deep connections, and accomplish their objectives outside of the athletics world. Some questions that were asked about this case are, how does Jasmine's experience highlight the interconnectedness of mental health and athletic performance according to the podcast? Jasmine's story sheds important light on the fundamental connection between mental well-being and athletic achievement. First, her anxiety issues and the stress of competing in an elite level directly affect her self-assurance and capacity for optimal performance. The podcast also highlights how emotions influence sports results, showing how elevated anxiety can impair performance. Jasmine's path to mental toughness and resilience also emphasizes the value of specialized interventions and comprehensive support networks in promoting athlete well-being and performance enhancement.
Another question that was asked was, the podcast mentions the impact of past setbacks on Jasmine's confidence and performance. Can you elaborate on how these setbacks affected her and what strategies were suggested to help her overcome them? Jasmine's story demonstrates the relationship between mental health and sports performance by highlighting how her battles with performance anxiety and past failures have a direct influence on her capacity to give her best. The podcast highlights how important Jasmine's mental health is to her athletic performance, including her motivation, self-assurance, and emotional stability. This demonstrates the significant impact that the athlete's mental health on their capacity to excel in their sport.
Another question that was asked was, in the interventions discussed in the podcast, such as guided imagery, how do these techniques help athletes like Jasmine manage anxiety and improve their performance? By teaching relaxation techniques and mental rehearsal, guided imagery, and related interventions assist athletes like Jasmine in managing their anxiety and enhancing their performance. Through the use of guided imagery, athletes can lower their anxiety and boost their confidence by visualizing themselves performing well under pressure. Through mental training, athletes can increase focus, emotional control, and mental readiness for competition, all of which contribute to better performance results.
Next question is, resilience is emphasized as a crucial factor in Jasmine's journey. How did the podcast suggest building resilience in athletes, and why is it important in sports? The podcast offers advice on how athletes like Jasmine can develop resilience by using a variety of techniques, including goal setting, introspection, and seeking out guidance from mental health specialists and coaches. In sports, resilience is stressed as being essential because it helps players recover from setbacks and stay focused and keep going after their objectives in the face of difficulties. Athletes can acquire the mental toughness and tenacity requirements to succeed in competition setting and endure hardship by cultivating resilience.
Another question that was asked is, the role of motivation, both intrinsic and provided by coaches, is highlighted in Jasmine's story. Can you discuss how motivation contributes to athletic success and how coaches can foster it in their athletes? Athletes who are motivated are more likely to create and pursue difficult goals, stay focused, and exert effort and perseverance in the face of setbacks. In Jasmine's case, her athletic path is significantly influenced by both extrinsic motivation, coaches' support and encouragement, and intrinsic motivation, her own desire and passion for the sport. By giving their players positive feedback, laying out clear expectations, and fostering a good and supportive training atmosphere, coaches may help their athletes become more motivated. Coaches can support athletes in being focused, engaged, and motivated to give their best efforts by fostering motivation.
The last question is, the podcast concludes by discussing the broader implications of mental performance measures in sports and overall well-being. What are some key takeaways from Jasmine's stories that can be applied to athletes in various sports and levels of competition? There are several important lessons to be learned from Jasmine's story that athletes of all levels of competition in sports can apply. First, it emphasizes how crucial it is to treat athletes' mental health and well-being in order to maximize their performance and general quality of life. Second, it highlights how important resilience is for conquering obstacles and setbacks in sports. Jasmine's story also highlights the significance of coaches in promoting motivation and attending to mental health requirements of players, as well as the role that motivation plays in determining athletic performance. Overall, Jasmine's experience highlights the wider ramifications of mental performance metrics in sports and how they affect players' overall health and performance. In conclusion, we are reminded of a significant influence mental performance measures have influencing athletics, outcomes, and overall well-being as we endure our examination of Jasmine's narrative. With compassion, knowledge, and a growth-oriented mindset, we are enable athletes like Jasmine to reach their full potential and flourish in the face of hardships. Come back soon as we explore other unexplored possibilities in the field of sports psychology.
Thank you for tuning in to Unveiling Potential. Until next time, remember the journey to greatness begins from within.